Now let's talk about another important aspect of using Power Platform, so in this case, understanding how you can administer and secure your data and apps on Power Platform. Power Platform provides a set of admin centers that allows us to administer globally and individually our solutions. We start with the Power Platform Admin Center that allows us to manage global settings and resources to administer our tenants. Then, we have a Power Apps Admin Center that allows us to manage specific settings and resources related to our Power Apps. Also, a Power Automate Admin Center for specifics related with our workflows, and a Power BI Admin Center to manage all settings related to our analytics solutions. Also, from the Power Platform Admin Center, you have access to the Dynamics 365 Administration Center as well. So now that we know the administration centers we have available, it is important to understand some of its major capabilities so we understand what we can manage while using them. The first capability is the ability to manage your environments and other resources individually so you can have more granular control over your data and apps. Also, you can analyze key metrics related to the usage of the apps and resources being used in your tenants, and as an example, understand how different users are using them, when and where. We can manage data policies using the admin centers and ensure that we are compliant with local regulations and ensure that our data is secure. You also have the ability to request technical help and support from the different Microsoft teams depending on the product that you are requesting reports. Also, another important capabilities are related to managing our data integrations in the clouds and manage the data gateways we are using to connect to our on-premise data source. Another important topic related to managing our data in Power Platform is related to maintaining the data integrity. And when we talk about data integrity, we need to consider at least these three topics. Security. So, how are we going to ensure that our data is securely stored and used? Privacy. So, how are we going to ensure the data privacy? And how are we going to ensure that we are compliant with standards and regulations? Let's see how we can achieve this in Power Platform. The security in Power Platform can be managed in different levels. We start with the tenant level, where you can manage authentication and licenses to control who has access to your tenants and which products each user will have access. For more information about license and pricing on Power Platform, please visit this link to the Microsoft documentation. You can also manage the security individually for each of your environments that you are using to host your apps and resources. The environments allows you to create isolated containers to store, manage and share your data, apps and flows. By using different environments to separate your apps, you can refine security controls to ensure that only people allowed can access and manage your apps and data. Each environment is located in a single geographic location, and each tenant has a default environment available since its creation. Power Platform leverages the identity and access management solution available known as Azure Active Directory to handle authentication. Also, it allows you to customize the authentication process and use features such as conditional access and multi-factor authentication to ensure a more secure and sophisticated authentication process and reduce the risk of having unauthorized people accessing your tenants. You can also manage security at Microsoft Dataverse level. You can leverage the security roles available on the role-based security model and group privilege into roles, so then you can assign those roles directly to users, to Dataverse teams, or to business units, so then users of that team or business unit will inherit the privilege associated to that role. Also, we can leverage business units and teams features to separate our data by the different divisions and teams in the organizations. Also, we can leverage the fine-grained access controls available at role and field level and provide rich auditing capabilities. Also, We can create and use data policies to prevent data loss and control the access to our data. These policies allows us to classify the connectors using our data and separate business data from non-business data so we do not mix both types of data in our applications and workflows. The policies can be used at tenants or environment level. In terms of governance, we have some resources available that simplify the process of governing our tenants. I will start by talking about the Power Automate governance templates. These templates allows us to create workflows that will perform automated tasks to help us governing our tenants. You can access the templates available using the following link. Also, we can use PowerShell CMDLets and management connectors to automate some of these tasks. And we also have a Power Platform Center of Excellence starter kit that provides useful resources to help us on the governance of our Power Platform tenants. For more information in relation to these starter kits, please follow this link to its official GitHub repository. In terms of compliance and data privacy, there are some important details to take into consideration to ensure that organizations comply with relevant laws, policies, and regulations. I start by talking about the Trust Center. Trust Center is the central place provided by Microsoft with all up-to-date and useful resources that will help organizations to ensure security, privacy, and compliance on their tenants. So I would suggest everyone planning to build solutions on Power Platform to refer to the Microsoft Trust Center to access relevant information and ensure the solutions are secure, compliant, and respecting data privacy policies. You can access the Trust Center via this link. In terms of data location, it is important to understand that when we create a tenant on Power Platform, this tenant is associated to a given geographical or geolocation. To ensure the continuity of your business operations, Microsoft may replicate data to other regions within the geolocation associated to your tenants, while ensuring that your data is never exposed outside of that geolocation. But you definitely need to put controls in place to ensure that the authorized users accessing the platform and your applications and data will not expose the data outside of the geolocation. In terms of data protection, there are multiple mechanisms and controls in place to ensure that our data is secure and protected. We start by talking about the Transparent Data Encryption, or TDE, also known as encryption at rest. And this means all your internal data stored on the Microsoft Dataverse use TDE to perform encryption of data when storing the information, ensuring that the data stays encrypted. Also, we have the Transport Layer Security, or TLS, that ensures secure channels between the Microsoft data centers where your data is located and all the entities consuming your data, including user device and your customers. These encrypted channels ensure that all data transferred is encrypted, and if for some reason someone not authorized access to data transferred, that someone will not be able to access or understand the information since it is encrypted. Also, if you are using data gateways to connect your on-premise environments with your Power Platform tenants, the data transferred is also protected, since it's transferred using secure channels as well. And in terms of GDPR, Microsoft provides us an extensive set of resources via the Trust Center to ensure that we can respond to the data subject rights requests. In terms of managing and auditing your compliance efforts and ensuring that you have the right controls in place, you have the Compliance Manager available. The Compliance Manager is a central place that you can perform these important tasks to ensure your tenant is regulatory compliant. You can perform tasks such as import your own assessments or perform assessments based on existing templates related to the different standards, guidelines, and regulations available to ensure the compliance on your organization. Also, you can import your own templates or extend existing templates to change existing controls. We can also create action items to control the requests for implementing, testing, verifying, and document the requirements of a standard or regulation of your organization. Last but not least, we can access the detailed information of each of the controls defined and implemented. You can access the Compliance Manager via this link. Once you access it, you will notice that there are some actions already performed by Microsoft to ensure the compliance of your tenants. So this means you still have the support of Microsoft on these compliance tasks. The Service Trust is another central place where you can access useful resources such as audit reports about compliance with data protection standards and regulatory requirements, Azure security and compliance blueprints, and more. I mentioned previously the term Data Gateway, but now I want to explain you in detail what is Data Gateway so you can understand how it can be useful to you. Data Gateway allows you to transfer your data between on-premise and your Power Platform tenants using secure channels that ensures the data transferred is encrypted. You can manage your data gateways via the Power Platform Admin Center, and you have two types of data gateways available. The on-premise data gateway that allows multiple users connect to multiple on-premise data sources, and you just need to perform a single gateway installation. The on-premise data gateway personal mode is slightly different since it only allows one user to connect to data source and the gateway cannot be used by other users. At the moment, this type of gateway is restricted to be used only with Power BI. Now that we discussed the security and governance of our Power Platform tenants, I want to share with you some of the best practices to ensure a secure tenant and make it easier to govern your tenants. The first best practice is to identify the risks on your organization and perform risk assessments and define proper mitigation plans to ensure you can act in case any of those risks occur. Also, be sure to create proper communication plans to ensure that communication works on your organization and everyone is aligned in terms of the controls implemented to ensure the security of your data and apps. Also, before starting to create your solutions on Power Platform, it is important to plan and design the environments you will use, since the environments will allow you to structure and organize your solutions on your Power Platform tenants. And also dedicate some time to define and implement data loss prevention policies to ensure your data is protected and does not get exposed. And as you saw during this module, Microsoft provides an extended set of tools, resources and guides to help us with all the efforts related to security, compliance and governance of our data and apps. So definitely you should spend some time on understanding how this resource can help you achieve this.